Yes.
I'm here with Anatoly from Nytt to talk about the latest record, Torum, out October 6th on Napalm Records. It's always a pleasure to see you. It's always a pleasure to talk to you. Even a bigger pleasure to listen to your music.
Nice to see you again, my friend.
Now, this record, I'm going to be honest, I was a little bit speechless with this album because I know you guys always release great records, but I was expecting at some point in time you're going to release a bad one. And it was not the case with this one, because this one is even better than Ritual, which I thought already Ritual was really high as far as the bar is concerned. I'm still waiting for that one bad record that you guys are going to do maybe sometime in the future, or maybe never.
Okay, special for you next time will be better. just a limited edition.
Just one song for
yes.
And you send it to me. Okay, this is like the worst we'll ever
do.
How much has the creative roadmap, when you guys did Ritual, how much it changed from the time of Ritual to this one? Because sonically and how the album comes across, this album, while connected, it feels very different.
I think it's very connected, because no, we did not had the long break after release Ritual and start working with these songs, but the Ritual was released the 1 year after the album was recorded.
Okay.
Album was finished in the September of 2020, but it was released in August 21. So we did not had the break, but we had the break. It was the 1 year, yes, maybe 1 year break. It was just the refresh our mind, some ideas. But in the first, yes, it's a continue of the album Ritual, but in ideas, in the sound, in compositions, in conceptions.
Mm-hmm.
But we had a very big work with sound. We had very many time for working. It 2 years. For 2 years, we just working with try to make there something more interesting in our sound. Try to find more interesting in sound. And yes, and some Natasha's ideas, especially with the songs. I think you heard the some songs. Yes, it's very different from what we did before. Mm-hmm. It's Yohemar with Kazakh Dombra. It's something like the step song, the songs, the intro song, the outro song, the manito in the mid. It's ambient, long ambient, just meditation track. Yes, it's Natasha's ideas, and for me, it's always interesting.
It made the record sound bigger. Does that make sense to you? Like the experience that I had listening to this album, I didn't have that experience with Ritual. I thought you guys were in my living room. It transported either you to me or me to you. But the sound of this record made me feel like the sound wasn't coming towards me. The sound was all around me. And that was a very different experience that I had.
Yes, and for me too, because when this album, it's more rhythmic. This album, it's more not so melodic like the Ritual, because in Ritual and it's not so Nordic. This album more Siberian, more shamanic, because Ritual, it was more Nordic album. In Ritual, you can hear only 2 songs Siberian. But the songs, those songs in Ritual, those Siberian songs, I can find only one very special Siberian song. It's Yugra. But another song, it's very similar with Nordic sound. This album, the Torem, it's Siberian album. It's not so Nordic. Yes, of course, we use some Nordic mood, some Nordic ideas, the same Huguenot Kommunen, the same North, and the Rise of Midgard. It's 3 songs, 3 Nordic songs, 3 Scandinavian songs. But we moving with the sound Siberian, the sound shamanical, the sound more rhythmical, the sound more meditative, more it's more shamanic African rhythms, something like this, more primordial.
Is that why the percussions on this record have a little bit more impact? They feel a little bit more in the forefront. They feel like they have a bigger role.
Yes, I worked to this album. I worked I spent very lot of time with working on percussion, with try to find a sound percussion for every song, because to transmit the energy of this song, transmit the shamanic energy of every song and percussion was very important for me. And this time Natasha made the rhythm, the main rhythm, and after this I sit with a lot of stuff and try to find for every song special percussion. So
is your, when you start thinking of a new record, do you always start from the same point? Does your creativity always start from every record from the same point, and then
no,
it's different for every album?
Yes, right now we are working with the special content for support album Torem. The Napalm Records offer to us made a very special content. We never made this before, and we are right now working on this. And it will be also musical part. And yesterday I composed the music. It was very difficult because it was yesterday I had the task to make some kind of soundtrack. So I see the picture, and I need to make the composition, the musical something. I don't know how it's named. It's not music. It's more sound with the different instruments, but it was very difficult. And every time working with the new song, for me it's difficult. For Natasha, it's not difficult. This is the reason why the Natasha working on the songs. But yesterday it was my task. Natasha asked me, you must make the sound for this content.
She put the pressure on you. So you mentioned this record, you mentioned the intro, you mentioned the outro. I'm going to tell you, one of my favorite songs is the outro. And it sounds weird that you like an outro. Like I already recorded my review, and I know people are going to say, like, how is an outro your favorite, one of your favorite songs? Because the album is a journey. There's definitely a path. There's definitely an experience that every song adds to it. And then the closing of that fire, you hear the fire burning, and it brings the closure, that experience to an end. And because of that, I really liked that outro. Did you think of that intro, outro right from the get-go as you start building the songs, or does that come at the end when you try to create the perfect bookends for the whole album?
No, it was the just play with instrument. We made the intro, the next song, next, and it was the moment. On one concert, the one guy present to us this instrument, Natasha playing on one. In Instagram and in Facebook and Reels, Natasha played. It's the wood with the string and play another wood, just musical bow. And we hear, yes, this is the final of our album. This is the final of album. This is very special rhythmic and a special melody sound, and we must to make it. And second, the flute playing there, it's a Mexican, it's a flute we bring from Mexico. Yes, in this album you can hear the Mexican flutes 2 or 3 times. It
Wow.
was, yes, it was very interesting because we finished all songs. We finished the album, it's fully finished. And next, before we transfer album to Napalm Records, we had the tour in Latin America. We played the concerts in Latin America, and guys in Mexico present to us the Mexican flutes, the Aztecs flutes. I did not have this kind of flutes before. And for me, it's I'm playing on the lot of flutes, from the classical flutes to different Irish, German flutes, the bagpipes, and different these instruments, but never played before on Mexican Aztec flutes. The guys present us, and we are back home, and I start to play. It's fantastic. It's very atmospheric. It's something mystical. And I decided it must sound in our new album, but we finished the album. But okay, we will find a place for these flutes, and we recorded already 2 or 3 days before we must transfer songs to Napalm Records. I sit and recording flutes in this studio on this microphone and send the music to Napalm Records.
It's incredible, incredible. Do you, when you look at music, is music more than just sound to you? Because when I was listening to this album, at times it felt like a 4D experience. And what I mean by that is that I'm listening to the sound, but I can almost visualize what the sound is representing and what the sound is creating. I can almost smell it. I can almost taste it. It has a very vivid experience. There's a very warm experience. So when you're creating music, do you see it that way as well? Do you see it more than just notes and sound?
Yes, of course, and you can see it in our videos. Because Natasha, when Natasha composed the music, Natasha also imaged the visual, almost image the how it's in her mind, how it's can be visualized.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes, to make the picture. And yes, and from this we are making our videos, because our videos we make ourselves. Natasha director all our
Really? The
videos.
videos, you guys do it everything yourselves?
Yes, all
Wow.
videos. Yes.
Is there anything you guys don't know how to do?
All our videos, it's Natasha's ideas, because Natasha is sitting in this room, hear the music. Main ideas came to her head when she making music. But after she is sitting in this room and hear the music and complete ideas, and tell to me we are going to film it. She took the camera and we are filming. Yes, filming everything.
Wow.
And this album will be our first time when it will be most songs will be making videos, because after next week the third single, in November fourth single, and in December the fifth videos will be the five videos.
Oh, wow. And what about the production? Because I thought the production on this record was outstanding, because you have so many moving pieces. You just said you added the Mexican flutes at the end. There's just so many layers, vocally, sound-wise, atmospheric. There's so much stuff. Do you handle the production as well? Because the production on this album is really phenomenal.
Thank you. It's yes, it's our job too. It's our work too. Natasha recording everything, making the notes for my instruments. Next, I'm sitting in studio and recording my instruments. It's flutes and the strings instrument, bowing strings instrument, and my voice. And after Natasha sitting and mixing, after Natasha, I am sitting and mixing, and again Natasha sitting and mixing, and after this I making mastering.
Wow. Unreal, man. Unreal. It just gives a whole new meaning to the way this album comes across, the way the music comes across, when you know how much work and that it's all you guys, the work that goes into it. It's unbelievable.
Yes, it's very important because we have experience working with the sound engineers, we have experience working with the filming companies, but we don't have the we did not have the realized ideas, all our ideas when we are working with the other people's in production of our, not matter music or videos. And for this is for us, this is more simple to make all production in our studio. For us, it's more simple to make all our videos with color grading, with editing, and it's for us. It's more simple.
Yeah, you keep
To make
everything. It's easier for you to fulfill your own
yes,
vision versus explaining to
yes,
somebody else what your vision is.
yes, yes,
Yeah,
yes.
it makes sense. But still, that doesn't mean that the work is not phenomenal, because it sounds like this album was produced in a $10 million studio. It sounds incredible, incredible. Like I said, I felt like you guys were playing in my living room. It's like I could close my eyes and you guys are all sitting around me playing in my living room.
But it's no, it's not 10 million. It's just these instruments. It's
It's
not something special, just, but we just had a lot of time for this. We spent a lot of time. We did not rush, and we usually we don't rush with our music. It's important. It's important to make best, and I very hope the next content you will hear from us, it will be not our bad recording.
I don't think you guys can make bad music, so I'm not worried about it at all. Now, from a vocal standpoint, this album is also very rich vocally. Was it a little bit more of a challenging record for you guys vocally, considering how many layers, how much sounds? Like the vocals on this album, sometimes I felt like they were right in front of me. Sometimes they were beside me. Sometimes they were at the distance. All in the same song. They had so
It's
much
not.
movement.
Yes, this is Natasha's cause vocal for she vocal. It's the first in the music. Not vocal for Natasha. It's the main. It's important. It's the first. The all other instruments, drums, the violins, flutes, no matter. It's around vocal. Yes, in our music, the vocal it's the main, and everything. It's just help to vocal. Everything, all instruments just around the vocal, but vocal in the first place. And Natasha just experimenting with vocals, with different effects, with the different movements, panorama, and place in mix. It's
Wow.
Natasha, so yes.
Was there a song on this record that gave you some gray hairs, a little bit more challenging, forced you to work a little bit harder?
Yes, I think it's Rise of Midgard. It will be released on next week with album. It will be the video, and it will be the third single. Yes, it cause it was the we recorded the cello. We recorded live a lot of instrument first times. First time we recorded this cello live. First time we recorded the same Mexican flutes, and very many layers in vocals. And in this song, some places were lot of vocals and lot of other instruments, and it was some problems with mixing, but we decide this problem.
You guys got there. Last question for you. When you look at the album is around the corner, October 6th coming out, do you look online to see what people are talking about in the singles? Do you pay attention to that leading up to an album release, or you're just 100% focused on the music, getting the album out there, and then what happens happens?
For us, it's most important to we are very glad with this work. We are very glad with this this our chapter in our path. Because people send us messages and about it's different, it's interesting, but for me I need to maybe 6 or 8 months just to rest from this album, just to start understand this music and this album the more normal, because right now I little tired from work with this album, because last maybe 7 months we're working from January we are working only with this album. From January we are working only with mixing, mastering, making videos, mixing again, mastering again, record instruments, and right now I little tired, and I understand I cannot see and hear this album the normal, just objective. I just I need the time for rest from this.
You need to walk away from it a little bit.
Yes, and like the ritual. So right now for me, ritual it's open some new kinds of this album, because right now where I hear the ritual album, I open, oh, it's interesting, oh, this is interesting. So I think
you almost forgot about what was there because you were so involved in it. Now you're able to, like they say, see the forest from the trees.
yes. yes.
Well,
No,
Anatoly,
two weeks ago
go
I
ahead.
spent time. Yes, 2 weeks ago we spent the time in Night Forest, and it was the amazing time.
Well, Anatoly, thank you very much for your time. I always appreciate talking to you. I always appreciate seeing you. So thank you very much for once again sitting with me to talk about Nyttland and about the new record Torum out October 6th on Napalm Records. And we'll talk soon.
We'll talk soon. Thank you. And have a nice day.
You too. Take care. Bye.
Bye.